Well, aren't you a regular Nancy Drew?
I learned that from the Nancy Drew Detective.
Okay, go.
You think you can follow the clues and solve the case of the missing condiment, Nancy Drew?
Because I've read every Nancy Drew mystery ever written.
Nancy, please tell me you're joking.
Wow, you suck at this Nancy Drew stuff. You should get a new hobby.
My name is Carson Drew, and this is my assistant, Nancy.
Nancy Drew.
It's curtains for you, Miss Drew.
Nancy Drew strikes again.
A regular Nancy Drew.
Hello, regular Drews.
Hello, we have a brand new series that we are bringing to you today. Welcome to the very first episode of CW Chats.
I am so pumped. I am so pumped. We are going to be talking about the CW show. Those of you who have requested, waited, we are so pleased to bring this to you. It took us a while to kind of figure out how to do this because, you know, the way that we normally schedule our content, we typically kind of jump around. We don't do things in order for very specific reasons, you know, because we want to, you know, make sure that we're kind of giving everyone what they want to hear, but also like help us to kind of, you know, experience it in a way that feels nostalgic to us. And so we didn't want to not do that. But obviously for the CW show, you kind of have to watch it in order.
Right. Yeah. Unlike many of the other series or books, whatever, there's not really, there's not as much flexibility to jump around as there would be with the other series. So it's got to be in order.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, because we switch around so much, it would be like, oh, well, maybe we watch 5 episodes here and then we wait a year to watch 5 more. That would be super annoying.
Yeah.
We wanted a way to be able to give you guys consistent and, you know, in order episodes about the CW show. And so CW Chats is our answer to this. We will be releasing these CW Chats for each episode of the CW show in order every other month. So, and we are kicking off the CW Chats with season 1, episode 3, The Curse of the Dark Storm, because we have already covered season 1, episode 1 and season 1, episode 2 in previous episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, if you want to catch up on those, the pilot, we did that for episode 66, and then the second episode, we did that in episode 81. And now we'll get to be on a little bit more consistent schedule with it. Like you said, we'll have every odd month we'll have. So our next one, you can expect that in about mid-July. But then you also have a little companion series that we are doing as a member exclusive.
Yes, I will be reacting to all of these episodes as well. And so I have just recorded and released season 1 reactions to season 1 episode 1, season 1 episode 2, and season 1 episode 3, and those are live now over on our website regularnancydrew.com on our memberships tab. You can see those if you join our Super Sleuth tier. You can also join over on Patreon to watch those there as well on our Super Sleuth tier. Yeah, I'm really excited. It was really fun to get to kind of watch them kind of pseudo with everyone. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to keep on doing that. Obviously, I have seen a good chunk of this first season. I think I've seen most of it. I didn't finish it out, but full disclosure, I do know the big twist of season 1. So if you are watching to have me see that, know that it will not be the first time I'm experiencing that. But I am surprised at how much I forgot about this show. Yes. I obviously I remember a bit more about 1 and 2 because we've covered those. But when I watched 3, I was like, I totally forgot all about what was her name who shows up with the claw?
Rita.
Rita. I forgot about Rita. I forgot about the blood buckets and the whole blood bucket ceremony, which is like a big thing. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They do this weird tradition. So I am excited to continue on with that and remember other things that I have forgotten in season 1. And then once we get to the end of season 1, it'll be all new content or all new fresh reactions from me, because I haven't seen any of, the end of season 1 or beyond that. So
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to do this series. I'm so excited to watch you watch it. It's so entertaining.
Oh, I'm glad. I do worry that a lot of it is just me staring at the screen. So I try to cut, the boring stuff out just so you can see anything I have to say. But yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy to entertain if you guys find it entertaining. So
I think I'm on like my 6th rewatch of the whole show. I've seen it all a lot. So I'm actually the one that has written the summary for these episodes for you guys. Becky usually writes our normal summaries for the rest of our episodes, but because I've seen it so much and I already know like which things specifically are going to be relevant to the future, I felt like I was able to kind of write the summaries there. Although I will say just a slight note here that sometimes it's a little bit out of order in our summary of what I've written versus what you actually see on the episode.
Yeah.
So if you ever see us saying something and you're like, wait, we don't learn that until the end of the episode, like sometimes we'll just like cut off and Nancy hasn't even finished her sentence. So I'm just trying to finish the sentence, if that makes sense. So
yeah, it's a difficult balance to strike to be able to explain what is happening in, the episode or whatever content that we're covering, and also faithfully describe what is actually happening in that content. Because obviously you have to explain it. And especially in visual medias like TV shows and movies, obviously the director is making very specific choices about when to cut for suspense and to leave the viewer and kind of like what is happening to keep up interest throughout, the entire course of the episode, which doesn't necessarily lend itself to a verbal explanation. So
yeah,
I totally understand the struggle, Kori. So,
yeah, sometimes the editor or the director will like cut it to like build up the suspense more, but you can't really like describe that in the summary without saying we went here and then we flash back to here and then we flash back to here and then we flash here, flash here, flash here. You don't want to hear that. We'll just tell you that it was a really tense scene. Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so all that to say, if you hear something out of order in the episode, it's just because I'm trying to like simplify it a little bit. But that was a lot to say something that's not very important, but
it's okay. It's okay. Oh my God.
Well, I feel like we need to start off with let's do our 3 words first and then we'll get into a summary of the previous 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping way around here.
That's okay. Yeah, okay, so I feel like it has to be blood bucket. It has to be one of our
blood bucket. Yeah.
I mean, it's a hyphenated word, but it's gotta be blood bucket.
Oh, that counts. I like it.
Because like what is more descriptive of the episode, but also what is grosser than the word blood bucket?
Yeah.
Blood bucket.
Restless
ISBN.
spirits. Oh, ISBN. Yes, perfect. Yeah, gotta be ISBN because that's an important clue.
Yeah, I guess this isn't really the episode where the blood bucket thing happens, but it's more of the aftermath of the blood bucket.
Correct. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. Okay. But I like blood bucket because I think it's funny. Blood bucket, ISBN, and
I want to say like restless spirits because of the storm that's getting kicked up. But yeah, restless. I like it. Yeah. Bamboozles. No, just kidding. Trickery.
Okay,
but
I
like that. Yes.
But restless. What did I say? Blood bucket and ISBN.
Yes. Perfect.
Because I find that fact so funny. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Do you want to give us a little summary of our previous 2 episodes here before we jump into this episode?
Sure. So where we last left off in Horseshoe Bay, Nancy is currently busy solving 2 mysteries. Number 1, the death of Tiffany Hudson, and number 2, the Lucy Sable cold case. So the Drew crew are unfortunately all suspected of Tiffany's murder, and Nancy now kind of knows that these 2 mysteries, these 2 deaths, are somehow related. In the last episode, the Hudson family had decided to move Tiffany's body out of Horseshoe Bay for a private autopsy, And Nancy then decided to sneak into the morgue prior to this to try to gain some evidence and was arrested when she was trying to steal this evidence, which was a vial of Tiffany's blood, which she was going to send off for her own tests. Nancy is also now suspicious of Carson's involvement in the Lucy Sable case after she found a bloody dress in the attic. And when Nancy confronted him about said dress, he said that it was just an old Halloween prop. But then we, as the viewer, see him burning the dress. So it's like, okay, well, it's probably kind of excessive to do for something that you claim is just a prop, Carson, right? Bess also had a meet cute with Elizabeth. We love Elizabeth.
Yes.
She is the Hudson family driver, but Bess is too embarrassed by like her current living situation because she's kind of broke and living in a van to date anyone right now. So unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit longer for us to get our romantic happies out of that. And at the end of last episode, George kicked over her blood bucket, which is like this town superstition that says that means that you're going to die sometime in the coming year. We, as the audience, now know also that Ace has been getting texts from quote unquote weed guy telling him to like keep watch over members of the Drew crew. So that's creepy and weird. What is Ace up to? Is he like some kind of informant situation? What's going on there? Also, we know that Nick previously spent 3 years in prison for manslaughter and that Tiffany Hudson was the key witness in the case, but we don't really know much about what happened beyond that. So Nick is also suspicious. And Nancy actually, just at the end of the last episode, managed to find the phone number that Tiffany called and texted. She texted the number right before she died. And Nancy calls that number right at the end of the last episode. And we, as the audience, but not Nancy doesn't know this yet, but we as the audience see a cell phone hidden in Nick's bedroom light up when she calls. So, not looking good for our boy, Ned Nickerson.
Not at all. No.
Yeah. Shall we jump in?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. You want to start us, Kori?
Sure. Okay, so we start with a montage of all of our 5 members of the Drew crew starting their day. Ace is actually biking through town and he bikes past George's house, and she's got like a mop and she's trying to clean the blood off of the front steps of her porch. And he's like, "Oh, do you need help cleaning it?" And she's like, No, this is just like a prank. I didn't like lose. He says like, "You lost the blood bucket challenge." She's like, No, it's just a prank. It's just a prank. This is no big deal. But it actually starts pouring down rain. We're going to have a huge storm that's blowing into town right now. And it's going to be throughout this entire episode. We're dealing with this massive storm that's going on. So it starts pouring down rain, and that kind of helps George wash away the blood bucket or whatever.
Poor George.
Yeah. But then we flash to Nick and Nancy, who are just waking up at his place the morning after she had like called the number from Tiffany's phone, and she doesn't know yet that it had rung to Nick's phone, but it's the morning after that, and we're seeing them just wake up just now.
So, okay, Nick lives at this, where he works, right? He lives at this garage,
The mechanic
right?
shop, yeah.
Is he the only one employed there?
Him and the owner, yes.
Oh, okay, there's an owner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had this question. There's a pin-up calendar on the wall of this, and I was like, I'm just going to assume that someone else who works there that has that, but
Maybe.
seems like then maybe not.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's the owners, but oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, the place that he works is called J. Dodd's, and the owner is Josh Dodd. So we'll meet Josh actually later in the season. He's
Is
gonna
that
be
a
in few
reference?
episodes.
Dodd sounds like a villain name from one of the mystery stories.
Oh, I don't know. Is it?
It sounds familiar, but I
don't
can't
know.
think. Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so Nick and Nancy are waking up under his pinup calendar that he has on the wall. That might be his, might be Josh's, who knows. But Nick actually gets up. He's going to go get them some coffee. And so Nancy gets up, she gets dressed, and she starts tidying up a little bit. And in doing so, she finds the hidden cell phone. And she opens it and sees one missed call from herself. And so she's like, oh, okay. And so she actually goes through the text messages in this hidden phone and finds one from Tiffany that just says, "package in car." And she realizes this must be the reason why Nick was so keen to restore her mom's car for her. Because if you'll remember in the pilot episode, Nancy had mentioned to Nick that like she would have inherited her mom's car after she died, but it's not currently working. And so Nick, without even asking, just went, got the car, took it back to Jay Dodds, and has been repairing it for her. So the car is just like here. Yeah.
This makes me so angry, Kori.
I know.
This makes me
I
so
know.
angry. I mean, I can't stand Nick. I can't stand him.
I know.
Cannot
He only gets worse too.
stand him. How can he possibly be worse?
His jealousy comes out.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
What? Okay. Oh, there's just like so much to say about him. So I just feel like he's such a gaslighter. Like absolutely like the epitome of gaslighting. I don't know what it is, but like all of the time he kind of like puts Nancy into like these emotionally manipulative situations where he's like trying to get something out of her, usually for her to just go with whatever it is that he wants to do in that particular moment. And I had totally forgotten about this whole like clock in the car situation. And he like sets up this car thing as like, oh, he's being such a great boyfriend, isn't he? He decided to do this all on his own to get the car. And it turns out the whole time he had a underhanded reason for doing it. Like, and then like we still help him. We still have good feelings towards him after this. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. What? He just lied to you and we just gloss over it. We don't say anything about it. And we say something about it, but it's not enough, in my opinion. It's not enough. And then we have like, oh, okay. I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, literally, like a character profile on this version of Ned Nickerson is like our thesis statement on why we hate this man. It perfectly encapsulates what is wrong with Ned and why we don't like him so much.
Yeah.
Because, not to spoil anything, but he gets a lot better after they break up. Like so much
See,
better.
this is the thing. Yes.
Yeah. He would be fine on his own. It's when they're together.
It's a toxic relationship.
It doesn't work. And they're just not compatible.
No.
And they break up later and he's fine. He actually becomes like Nancy's BFF and they're totally fine as just friends. They just have no business being a couple.
Because it's the emotionally manipulative aspect. It's because he feels some kind of weird ownership, number one.
He's trying to control her.
Yes, and control. It reads out even in this before you even talk to me about jealousy. It's like when he comes into the claw and like I think it's in episode no, it might be in episode 1, but it might be 2, where he comes into the claw and he's like trying to get Nancy to admit the fact that like basically they're like together. They had this relationship
that's the pilot.
in front of everyone is so horrid. Like who does that? Like you didn't even have a conversation. And he like Nancy calls him out. He's like, he's forcing this point to make me admit to all of you that like we're in a relationship. I don't know why he's choosing to do this right now. Like, so it's a weird ownership, weird control like thing. And like if he just, doesn't have that relationship to Nancy anymore, they can just be platonic and not experience this weird emotional jealousy, then great. Now, I don't know if he would be like that in every relationship he gets in. Presumably, we see him get together with someone else later. I'm just assuming. And I'm worried about that person. But yeah, I can't stand him. Stand him.
Yeah, we can. I mean, there's a lot of drama in this show that we can point the finger at the network for. The CW, of course, has a little habit of making things a little bit more melodramatic than they might otherwise be. But I think that this is the perfect portrayal of Ned because it's just so accurate. Like, this is how he acts in the files. Like, he's a jerk. He wants to control Nancy and he just wants to make these decisions for her.
Yeah. I do feel like this is a extreme version of Ned, like very heightened version of Ned. And obviously the TV show just moves a lot faster than a book can. And so we see just so much more of it so quickly, which I think kind of lends itself to that belief like that this Ned is particularly bad. But I think you're totally right. All of these hallmarks that appear here in the show, all of these behaviors are the same things that we've seen red flags of in the mystery stories, in the files, in the girl detective books, like all of it. In the 77 show.
Yeah.
Like, talk about control, talk about proprietary feelings towards Nancy,
Mhm.
hero complexes and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah. So
It's a good portrayal.
it's
It
pretty
is.
faithful. It's
Yeah.
pretty faithful. And I do have to say, who is the actor who plays him? What's his name?
Tunji.
Tunji Kasem?
Yes.
Yes. His smile is the most Ned smile I've ever
It
seen in my
is,
life.
yeah.
The way it kind of like, it's so wide. And
Mhm.
I was like, oh my God, like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, they got it. They
Yeah.
got it
Mhm.
with that. Like, oh, because it's just so infuriating. It's so infuriating. The thing that I find the funniest about Nancy's and Nick's relationship in this show is the fact that, like, so many times she kind of just admits that she is only with him to, like, bone him.
Uh-huh.
Like, how many times she's like, if you weren't so cute, if you weren't such a good
Mhm.
kisser, then this wouldn't be a problem. It's like, oh my God,
Mhm.
Nancy. Gotta find somebody else you have sexual chemistry with. Like, come on.
I have to say, I do love the actor, though. I think he's very
Yes.
talented. He pulls it off well. Did you know he's Scottish?
No way.
Right?
No way.
You see him, he plays like macho man American football player
That's
so
crazy.
well. And
Yes.
he's Scottish. I had no idea
my
until I heard
God.
him like in an interview talk, and I was like, what is that accent? Goodness. I knew
Well,
that
props.
yeah, seriously, he does such a good job of like portraying Ned's Nedness that it's like I wouldn't have ever guessed. I know that Bess's actress is actually British, and that's
Yeah, I
going to
did
be
know
a
that.
whole plot line later that she starts using the British
Yeah.
accent. And so I knew that she actually had that accent in real life. I had no idea he had a Scottish accent in real life. I was like blown away. But
I would never have guessed. That's crazy.
yeah. So props
Wow.
to the actor. He clearly
Yes.
like knew what he needed to do. He understood the assignment. He embodied Ned so well. But yeah, so we find this message saying package in car, and we realize, okay, yes, this is why Nick wanted to restore the car so badly. And then Nick actually comes back in with the coffee, and Nancy confronts him and is like, okay, what is this phone that I just found? And what is this package you're talking about? Show me the package right now. And he refuses. So she just leaves and goes back to the Drew home.
This is so crazy to me. I would be so livid. I would be livid. She's mad, but like she keeps it, cool or whatever, in the Nancy Drew way or whatever. I would not leave my car with that man.
No.
I would be like, I'm gonna go ahead and call a tow truck. Like, let's get this out of your possession now. Like,
what are you doing to her mom's car?
Seriously. Also,
without her permission.
And we're kind of just glossing over the fact, too, that right now he's a suspect in the murder of Tiffany Hudson. And that's kind of why she's suspecting him of all of this stuff. And yeah, now he has your car. You could be cutting the brakes on, sabotaging it somehow.
Right.
And then obviously he can just, if something does happen, you get into a car accident, he can just write it off like, oh, it was an old car. I did my best to fix it. I guess I missed something, Oops.
Yeah.
Oops. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it.
We have to talk about this package, though, because I don't really understand how it got there. Anyway, so we go back to the Drew home. The storm outside is getting like absolutely crazy now, to the point that I think the police are telling people like stay off the roads. It's really bad out there. And when Nancy gets home, Carson starts questioning her, like, where have you been? Don't you know how bad the weather is? Also, where did you sleep last night? And Nancy is like, you know what? I'll tell you the truth about where I've been as soon as you are honest about the bloody dress in the attic.
Oh.
And Carson is like, oh, that old prop, I threw it away. And Nancy's like, well, why isn't it in any of our trash cans then, huh? And like catches him in this lie. But just then Ryan Hudson arrives because he has hired Carson for legal representation they were going to discuss like closing Tiffany's estate and all this. And so Nancy has to go to work. So she gets ready for work and she tries to eavesdrop on Carson and Ryan's conversation, but they catch her. And so she just like formally introduces herself to Ryan because they didn't, I guess, formally meet the other day at the Claw with the whole murder situation going on. But then she just leaves and goes to work. When she gets to work, Ace starts telling Nancy and Bess that he saw George kick over the blood bucket and is like concerned about her. He also tells us that according to Old Town legend, the type of storm that's currently blowing in, which they call a nor'easter, this supposedly caused restless spirits to come ashore in Horseshoe Bay, to be blown into town, I guess. At this moment, though, Karen Hart, the police officer who is looking into Tiffany's investigation, she arrives and tells Nancy that Nick is their number one suspect because of his criminal record and connection to Tiffany. She asks Nancy for her help in getting evidence on him. And Nancy doesn't say yes, but Karen's like, okay, you can have until the end of the day to decide on this. And she leaves. Once she does, Bess, George, and Ace were all overhearing all of this, and they don't know about Nick's criminal history and everything. So they come over and they're like, what was she talking about? Tell us everything. And Nancy doesn't say anything, but they start making guesses and they guess manslaughter. And so Nancy's like, yeah, that's it. But she won't tell them anything more. Do you want to take it here?
Yes. Okay. So then Nick comes into the claw and he tells Nancy, oh, the cops were just over at my place. They tossed it. It's horrible. They ended up tracing the burner phone and they just were looking for that. So they were tearing apart the garage. And Nancy's like, oh, well, you're welcome because I stole it and I deactivated it. So that was its last location. But, now it's here. So, and then this, I guess, makes Nick trust her enough to come clean about the package in the car. And he shows it to her. It is the Crowley clock from Secret of the Old Clock. And Nick says he's been trying to figure out its significance for days, but he hasn't gotten anywhere. This is also why he's showing her, right? Because he wants help. Yeah, and he wants her help. Ugh, gross, disgusting. How dare you? How dare you?
He's only telling Nancy about her own business, her mother's car, because he wants her help.
Yes. Can you believe the audacity? The audacity. I don't understand why. And Nancy's annoyed, but she is not nearly mad enough about all of this, in my opinion, because she does agree to help. Because obviously it's a puzzle, so whatever. But if it were me, I would be yoinking that clock out of his hand, be like, "Thank you very much, bye bye." Get out of here. I'll do it myself. I don't want to do anything here with you. Oh, yeah. Anyway, okay, but she takes the clock. They look at it together. She, of course, wonders why the clock was in her mom's car. And we learn that Nancy's mom, Kate, was Nick's social worker. We should talk about this. Is this not a conflict of interest for her? Because, obviously this was before, Nick and Nancy had met. But Carson was his lawyer.
That's a conflict of interest. I'm sorry.
I don't know enough about licensing ethics. You probably know more than me, Kori. So
not enough in the legal area,
but as a social worker, taking on your husband's clients as your own clients,
it's fishy at best. I'm not saying Kate was doing anything untoward, right? But
that's just weird. Because what kind of racket? If you think about ethically what could be happening, well, Carson could be keeping people on his caseload, and or Kate could be setting them up, and Carson could be knocking them down. You know what I mean?
You never know. Yeah,
you never know. Anyway, so we learn that Nick and Nancy kind of first got together on July 4th, and we're in September now. And so he already knew who she was when they met because of her mom. So
and didn't tell her this.
And they sleep together. I and also
sought her out and didn't tell her he knew who she was.
And her mother is dead. So it's not just oh, I happen to know your mom. I didn't think it was relevant. It was it's linked to this big, massive trauma in Nancy's life. So to not come clean and be like, I knew your mom. I'm really sorry about your loss. To not even do that. And it just feels like a big betrayal to me. Betrayal after betrayal, and then steals your mom's car. And I just can't with him. I can't.
Especially after in the pilot, he mentions her dead mother to her, and Nancy goes, how did you find out? Who told you? That would have been the part to be like, oh, well, I knew her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I knew she was already dead before I even met you.
That's too late, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
opportunity. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times they've been together. August, I guess it's only been a couple months.
Mhm.
But like,
But if you've been dating for 3 months and then
Yeah.
then you're way too late with it to come
Yeah.
out at this point with that
Yeah.
information.
yeah, that's like I mean, if it's not date 1, it's
Mhm.
date 2 information.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's, by the way, I knew your mom.
Mhm.
By the way, really
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah. Like, oh. Anyway, okay. So, Nancy is like, so you knew my mom. Did you like hook up with me just to get close to this package that was in her car or whatever? And he's like, no, of course not. You know, I liked you or whatever. Bull crap.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
But he explains that Kate would regularly visit him while he was in prison, and it was her who convinced him to agree to meet Tiffany. And apparently, it's because Tiffany really wanted to meet with him because she felt guilty that her testimony against Nick got him convicted, and so she would visit him. And this is okay. Honestly, this felt really weird and icky to me too.
Mm.
I just I get that she feels guilty or whatever, but to like come once and they show these visitations right in the
Mhm.
show that they have between Tiffany and Nick is pissed off. Like he's
He doesn't
mad.
want to talk to her.
Does not want to talk to her. So to show up and then show up again and
Mhm.
again and again and they're
And
just
get
not
Kate's help
talking.
in convincing him.
This is like, and also considering Nick's a minor, right? Or at least very young.
Mhm. He would have been
Um,
a minor when it was when he was convicted, and then he
Right.
spent 3 years in there. So I think he's
Gotcha.
about 20-ish right now.
Okay. Yeah. And so to think that like this adult woman coming to visit this, I mean, obviously she's not that old, but like she's at least older than him, coming
She's in
to
her late 30s. Yeah.
right, coming to
Mhm.
visit him in prison, he is not having it. And she continues to like force her presence upon him to assuage her guilt.
It's a little weird, right?
It's number one, selfish and creepy when you add this layer to like, okay, well, he won't talk. They can't like talk about the crime. It's like too traumatic for kind of the both of them. And so they start instead kind of conversing through books. So she'll bring him a book to read, he'll read it, and then eventually they'd talk about it, right?
Mhm.
But now we're at a level where like she's giving him gifts while he's in prison. There's this adult woman who comes to visit this young man.
Mhm.
Like, and it feels very grooming to me. Feels like grooming behavior.
Mhm.
Anyway, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, so he says like books were their secret language, and Nancy is like, oh, okay, so we probably need information from a book to figure out how to unlock this clock, right? We cut back to the claw. George is carrying a pot of coffee when it randomly explodes, getting glass everywhere. So, yeah, Bess freaks out. Is this part of George's death curse? Are we reaping, the rewards of the blood bucket, so to speak? And they start cleaning it up. And then a woman comes in. She is, yes, dressed delightfully in a retro 70s like outfit. And she comes in. She says, I'm Rita. Are you hiring? And Bess sits down with her to fill out an application. Meanwhile, Ace comes in to help George sweep up the glass, and a harpoon decoration that is hung from the ceiling falls down and almost impales George. But of course, Ace yanks her out of the way in time. I just have to say, why are we hanging up sharp harpoons from the ceiling from this restaurant? Couldn't put that on the wall.
Yeah, we've got all these like nautical themed things. Why the ceiling though? Goodness.
And sharp, like we couldn't dull the tip of it before we put it up there. Like, just
poor
seems like an
George.
accident waiting to happen. But so obviously with all of these near accidents, Bess is really freaked out, thinking that this is the curse that is like causing all these accidents to happen. And so Ace, and Rita create the salt circle around George and force her to like sit inside of it. It's peak comedy. It's very funny. Well, let's take a quick break right here, and we will be back in just a second.
Okay, so we're back and we come back to Nancy. They are still working on this Crowley clock, trying to figure out how to open it. There's actually, just like in The Secret of the Old Clock, there's a little crescent moon on the top of the clock. This is why I call it the Crowley clock, because it looks exactly how they describe it in the book.
It's clearly a reference.
Yes, yeah, there's no actual Crowley character in this
Sure.
series. But the crescent moon on this is like a little metal piece that's like embedded in the wood of the clock. And Nancy has actually just been able to remove this crescent metal piece from the clock. And on it, she finds a number engraved. And she's like, this is the right number of digits for an ISBN number. So Nick starts talking a little bit more as they search through his books, and they're like searching through his books to find an ISBN number that matches the number on the crescent moon. Nick starts telling her a little bit more about the night of his arrest and the manslaughter and everything. It turns out they were at a party, and Tiffany was actually outside on the sidewalk when Nick pushed the guy who died out of a window. And so therefore, there is no way that Tiffany would have been able to see and have heard what happened inside the party and in the moments leading up to the push. So how would she have known whether it was intentional or not? And because of this, Tiffany always doubted her own testimony, and this is why she felt guilty enough to seek Nick out to get his side of the story and force him to talk to her.
There are so many questionable things about Nick's whole case situation and how they bring it up that make me think that Carson must not be a very good attorney in this universe. Because
oh no.
If she's the star witness who got him convicted, Carson did not do his job.
Yeah.
If the fact that he got convicted at all from this, I find quite ridiculous. And I mean, probably clearly a product of racism, because there's no way that you could get convicted of this for any other reason, so yeah, I'm just like, Carson, come on. What was this?
I just don't understand the whole package in the car thing. I don't know how Tiffany got it in there in the first place, or like why it needed to be put into the car. Like that's never explained. Nancy even asks why, and he's like, "Oh, your mom was my social worker," and that's the answer. That's not a reason. No. Yeah, it's how you knew each other. It doesn't tell me why the package needed to get into her car in order to make its way to Nick. Unless Kate was in on somehow the plan to transfer the clock to Nick, which why couldn't Tiffany have just given it to him when he was out of prison anyway? Anyway, it really doesn't make sense, and it's really just for the convenience of this plot.
Mailed it to him,
There's a million other ways to do this.
Left it anywhere else.
But somehow we have to involve Nancy, so.
Ugh.
But, so they're looking around through these piles of books in Nick's loft area in the garage, and Nancy ends up finding a book called Under the Lilacs, and it does match the ISBN from the engraving on the clock. Turns out Tiffany was a bit of a puzzle fanatic, and this was actually her way of pointing Nick to a property she had recently purchased. That's right, the Lilac Inn. Nancy's like, okay, well, we need to go there ASAP, but we need some assistance first because she knows, and now we see that Karen, the police officer, has been following Nick and Nancy around all day.
This woman is also supposed to be Nancy's friend and supporter. Doing some real shady stuff to make me believe that. So.
Yeah. But here's the bamboozle. This is pretty clever. So they go back to the Claw and they swap raincoats with Ace and Bess. Ace and Bess get in Nick's truck and drive it in the opposite direction so that Karen follows them. She actually ends up pulling them over thinking that it's Nick, and then she realizes that she has been bamboozled. So she's just like, okay, get out of the storm and go home, kids. And then she just leaves really annoyed. Do you want to take it from here?
Sure. So Nancy is obviously quite happy with herself over tricking Karen, and they end up sneaking out and they take the car to the Lilac Inn, which is this bed and breakfast just outside of town. We flash back to Carson's office where Ryan is explaining that Tiffany had begun renovating the inn as a pet project. So it's still only under construction. It's not completed or anything. And it's still in that state. And Carson starts going over the financial papers, but Ryan can't focus on anything going on because there's this weird like thumping noise that he's hearing from upstairs, but Carson can't hear this. And so Ryan begins acting very erratically. And then we have a jump scare moment where he actually sees Lucy Sable's ghost in the corner above Carson. Scariest moment, I think, in all of the episodes I've seen so far is that moment. And so like Carson's like kind of like, okay, you're like there's something going on with you, because Carson obviously isn't experiencing any of this. And Carson tries to explain to Ryan that Tiffany had gotten public landmark status approval for the Lilac Inn right before she died. But Ryan thought that they were just going to sell the inn for profit. So he's like, this is frustrating. Like, this is not what I thought the plan was. And he insists on going to the inn right now to see. But Carson thinks that he is not sober because of how he's been acting. And so he's like, okay, well, let me drive you. You know, if you're insisting upon going there, at least let me drive. So meanwhile, Ace and Bess are driving back to the Claw after, fooling Karen, when they see that the storm has caused a branch to crash through Bess's van's window. Bess is just like devastated and so upset, but like she can't cop to it, right? Because she hasn't admitted to anyone that she's like living in this van. She's like been pretending to live with like her rich relatives or whatever. And so she's just like quietly horrified and like scared about all of her possessions or whatever. And obviously Ace notices, but can't really, she can't really say anything. But anyway. And now Nancy and Nick have arrived and made their way inside the Lilac Inn. And Nancy starts trying to kind of question Nick about what actually happened that night when he pushed the guy out the window. But yes, this scene is so frustrating too. I mean, like the hits just keep coming with this guy. I literally really struggle to find one redeemable quality about him. Maybe I'll make that my mission in this rewatch, is to find something positive I can say about Nick. But he like gets angry at Nancy here and accuses her of like quote unquote trying to solve him. Which is like, I mean, dude, she has a right to ask some questions at this point, I feel.
You're the main suspect in a murder.
And she's helping you right now. Like, it's just not fair for you to, like, get all angry and aggro. Like, honestly, you really should be on your hands and knees apologizing to her at this particular moment. But at the very least, you could humor her or just not get angry when she asks those questions and say, I'm just not really comfortable talking about it. Maybe we can talk about this later after we know each other a little better, kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
She could easily go to the police and be like, look at this cell phone that I found. And this package that he's been keeping from you that was the effects of the dead victim. Like, no.
And he's like, back off, Nancy. Like, I'm sorry, what? You back off, Nick. You back off. You stole my mom's car. I'm not going to get over the car situation. I'm never going to get over that. Ay, ay, ay. But luckily, this argument kind of diffuses because we start noticing things in the inn. There are like these paintings on the wall and it's very escape room vibes.
Yeah.
Nick is like, oh, this is like the author of the book that Tiffany gave me. And so there's like, anyway, they determine based on all of these like picture clues that they need to go look in the kitchen. And so they go there. But of course, Carson and Ryan show up now to the inn. And so they have to run into a pantry inside the kitchen to hide. So Ryan starts just like looking around the inn for things that he can sell off because obviously that's his priority here. And Carson starts questioning him about his situation with Tiffany because apparently Ryan had a prenup with Tiffany that says he will only get Tiffany's money if her death was by natural causes, which is interesting. I'm thinking very much about Knives Out right now when I think about this prenup or whatever, because they talk a lot about like in what situations like someone's will wouldn't get like carried out, when they pass away. And one of them is the Slayer rule, which is like if you can be proven to be responsible for someone's death, then you can't collect your inheritance, right? It's like a way to stop people from murdering people for their inheritance. And so I'm like, is this really necessary? maybe it's like a state thing. I don't know, but it's definitely an interesting prenup. And Ryan says that, oh, it's just because Tiffany was getting really paranoid before her death, and she started to suspect his family of wanting to hurt her, which is why she added that clause into the prenup. Okay. He's like, this was ridiculous, but he kind of just like went along with it because he wasn't going to kill her. He didn't have plans to kill her. And thinks that like it's kind of because Tiffany was being quote unquote haunted before her death.
That she was just paranoid and crazy, and mental health problems made her think that, that's what he's trying to say here.
Yeah. Ryan also says that, kind of he makes it clear that he is in debt to someone, but he won't actually reveal who it is to Carson. So that'll be interesting. I'm assuming that's going to come up later. You want to take it?
Sure. So we flash back to the pantry where Nick and Nancy are hiding, and Nick is having a little bit of a claustrophobia-induced panic attack here. He's really freaking out, and so Nancy tries to get him to talk about Tiffany to try to calm him down, and in doing so, he has another epiphany. Tiffany left another book-related clue in the pantry. Actually, it's a bottle of wine that says Amontillado on the label. And so he's like, oh, obviously this brick wall in the pantry has something inside of it because of the Poe story, right?
Uh-huh.
And so they're like, okay, we need to like take these bricks out. And so he like demolishes this brick wall somehow. We're still trying to hide, by the way, and be quiet, but he manages to demolish this brick wall. And inside they find a secret safe. Nancy's like, okay, well, Tiffany wouldn't have sent us all the way out here without the combination. So what numbers could we use as the combination to the safe? And it turns out the date of Nick's arrest is the date that opens the combination on the safe.
That opens the combination on the clock.
Oh, the clock. Yes,
the safe is a key safe. So
yes, sorry, I got that mixed around. Yes, but so she opens the clock using the date from the arrest, and then inside of that is the key for the safe. In the process of trying to like unlock the safe, Nick knocks over a bottle of wine, which is loud enough to alert Carson and Ryan to their presence. So they like quickly grab all of the contents of the safe, build the brick wall back.
I don't. Why would you waste time doing that?
I know.
And also, like, people are gonna see that. Like, it's not like you're remortaring it or anything. They're just stacking the bricks back up.
Yeah.
I don't even know physically how you're able to do that. Like, I feel like it's just gonna come toppling over.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way. Like, so stupid.
Gosh. So they grab as much as they can. They build the brick walls back, and then they just take off running before they get caught. Ryan and Carson do come into the kitchen to check it out, and Ryan's like, it's an old house. They make old noises. Whatever. It's probably nothing. But Carson notices the broken bottle of wine on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Nancy...
and there's a footprint in the bottle of wine.
And there's a footprint in the bottle of wine. So he's like, okay, obviously somebody was here, but he doesn't say anything to Ryan because he knows who it is. But we'll get there in just a second. Anyway, Nancy and Nick get back to the Drew home where they find Karen waiting for them. And Karen asks, like, oh, Nancy, did you make a decision about my offer? And Nick's like, what offer, Nancy? And so Nancy is forced to explain that Karen wanted her to be like this informant and like rat him out. And Nick obviously feels super betrayed by this. And Nancy turns to Karen and is like, you know what? All of this, I've had no choice but to prove you wrong because your only reason for suspecting Nick is just based on the assumption that Nick wanted this revenge against Tiffany. But here, look at this book. Look at this inscription in the book. And she presents her with a book that Tiffany had given to Nick. And there is an inscription inside from Tiffany to Nick asking for forgiveness for her part in putting him in jail. And Nancy is like, okay, Karen, you need to just check the visitors logs in the prison. You'll see that Tiffany was there every single week and you'll see that they became friends. And Karen, you can like see that she knows Nancy is right, but she just like says something snotty and leaves. So that's pretty much it. You want to take it from here?
Sure. So back at the Claw, George is still in her salt circle, and Rita warns her that she really needs to be taking this curse seriously because these restless spirits blowing in with this nor'easter want to claim a life, and now George has been marked. And Rita warns George that she better not leave her circle, but at this exact moment, Nick and Nancy return to the claw, causing like this gust of wind to blow directly on George, who's like, she's sitting like right in front of the doorway. And this causes a hanging light to swing and fall right into George's path. And Nick grabs her before anything happens. But like the light like somehow ignites the salt circle, which goes up in flames. And when we turn around, Rita is just gone. She has just vanished. And so we all go into the kitchen. Nick finally tells us the full tale of his incarceration. We learn that during spring break in his sophomore year of high school, he got to go to this football camp in Maine. And he and the guy who ended up dying, his name was Austin, they had like kind of butted heads during this football camp. And, you know, this kind of all came to a head at a party one night when Nick brought a friend of his who Austin attempted to sexually assault. And so when Nick tried to like stand up for her, he like tries to force Nick to leave the party while he takes the friend elsewhere. And Nick is like, no, absolutely not. And so they get into this physical altercation and they start fighting. And eventually Nick punches Austin so hard that he falls backwards through a second-story window and dies. And this moment really bothers me in the show because we treat it as like this big emotional moment and the other four are like comforting Nick and we're like, we don't blame you for what happened. And it's like, yeah, why would you ever?
Right.
What do you have to do with the situation? Number one, literally the only person you could say who probably maybe should have known about it was Nancy, but also like maybe not. I just think, listen, I think Nick needed to come clean to her about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know that the details about this are particularly relevant for a quote unquote crime that he supposedly committed when he was a child. He served time for and then was released. That record like should be sealed. Like nobody needs to know. And it is actually sealed, I believe, because Nancy like tries to find information about it from and can't because and so this whole like, oh, it's okay, Nick, like, you know, like we don't think anything bad about you because of it. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't. And that's the whole point why minors' records are sealed. And also like the situation in and of itself is so messed up that like he's getting convicted for a situation where he was like protecting his friend from this awful guy, sounds like. Obviously we're only getting one side of the story. We don't know the full details, but to get convicted when you were like acting in someone's defense is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. Like it's one thing to get convicted of manslaughter if you like, you know, crash your car into someone, maybe because you were driving recklessly. Obviously, it wasn't intentional, but there is some level of fault there.
Right.
Here, I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, maybe we could frame it as Nick went a little bit too far and, you know, didn't need to attack him that aggressively, but we don't know.
We don't
like
know
we
what
don't
happened.
we don't talk about that. Like we're not talking about, he doesn't bring up the fact that I got out of control. He doesn't say that.
Right. He says the guy fell even. It's not like he pushed him out the window. It was a genuine accident after a fight that maybe it shouldn't have gone as far as it did. But yeah, it wasn't, he didn't push him out the window on purpose. Like,
so like at 16 to get convicted for that is number one, insane. Like what lawyer, like this is what I'm saying. I don't understand how this happened because Carson is supposed to be a good lawyer and there's no way.
Where was the friend on the stand? Like, why didn't we have her testifying?
Probably because she was also a minor and maybe because she was under the influence. So I mean, like I maybe wouldn't want her on the stand, you know,
maybe she did testify. We don't know.
Yeah. But we don't know any of these details. But so it's anyway. So it's just annoying that this to me is like some like emotional touch point for all of them as if they are somehow owed Nick's honesty about this particular situation, which is already so messed up. And honestly, in my opinion, none of their business. So, anyway,
I think he does say that he didn't tell them in the first place what happened because he didn't want them to look at him differently. So I can understand how he's emotional in this case, but for them to be like, no, it's okay. I know we forced you to tell us.
Yes,
but now that you have, it's okay. And we don't look at you differently. Okay, whatever.
Well, and just like maybe be like, oh, thanks for sharing that with us. Yeah,
Mhm.
man, you didn't need to worry about anything with
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, you're still our friend. What a horrible situation. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and you could just literally leave it that, but they're like crying
Yeah.
with him. It's very weird, in my opinion. It feels emotionally incestuous. Is the term I might use to describe that. But anyway, whatever. So we get this story and we're kind of like resolving this, I guess, issue with our Drew crew. And then later, George starts cleaning up at the end of her shift. Obviously, lots of stuff went down in the claw today. And she happens to notice a familiar face on a picture on the wall, which is like kind of has all of these like old newspaper articles and like, you know, a bunch of different decor item or whatever. And this particular newspaper picture is from an article dated from July 18th, 1975. And it has the headline on it that says Tourist Decapitated in Boating Accident. And in the picture is Rita. Dun dun dun! She was a ghost all along.
She was the restless spirit blown ashore.
Spooky.
Ugh.
You take it?
Yes. So that evening, Nancy and Nick go to her bedroom to finally open up the contents of Tiffany's safe. Nick pulls out a very thick stack of large certificates, but says he doesn't know what they are. And Nancy identifies these as bearer bonds and counts them up real quick and says, Nick, this is $5 million.
Time out real quick.
Uh-huh.
Well, they don't make bearer bonds anymore, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so these are old bearer
Mhm.
bonds, and I'm pretty sure they appreciate in value.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how does she just count them and just knows the value of them? Obviously, the bearer bonds themselves have a particular value, but they've appreciated in value.
So maybe it's like at least 5 million?
I think it's way more than 5 million. Anyway.
We're going to have to talk about this because he does inherit this money and then by the end of season 3, it's gone.
What?
It's all gone by the end of season 3. And he
What
has
does
to like
he do with it?
He has to like pawn his valuables at the end of season 3 for something that's happening. And he needs money for like a plumber or something.
Oh
and he has to
my
pawn
God.
stuff. I'm like, where did your $5 million go? We'll talk about how he spends some of that money. And I absolutely could see how some of it is completely gone. But I'm like, you didn't save anything for emergencies.
That's
like,
crazy.
Come on, kid. I get you're 20 and you're gonna be a little bit impulsive and maybe not the best planner with that kind of money. But if you have $5 million, hire yourself a financial advisor and make sure that it lasts you more than a year.
Yeah.
Because by the way, this entire show, from the pilot to the series finale, is less than 8 months in total. I have tracked every single date. I have made a calendar of how things happen in this show. This boy spends $5 million in less than 8 months. Come on. We'll talk about it.
In season 3, how many days are we out from the pilot? Or sorry, episode 3. Did I say season? Episode 3, how many days are we out from the pilot?
We're on September 3rd right now, and the pilot takes place like August 28th. The pilot takes place over 4 days, but I think starts on August 28th.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we're like a week in.
A week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe less than that. I'd have to pull up the actual calendar and look at it, but yeah. Okay, so yes, he's inherited this $5 million and he starts freaking out at hearing what these bearer bonds are. And he's like, this is going to look like I killed Tiffany for this money. So and Nancy's like, no, I'm 100% certain that Tiffany did all this just to make sure that you could get this money without anyone knowing about it. So they're untraceable. Don't worry. And then we just gloss over that and never talk about it again.
So, okay. Yeah, that's crazy, first of all. Second of all, this leads me to more icky feelings about the whole grooming situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to leave him this amount of money. I know she feels guilty, and I know that's supposedly the motive for why she's leaving him this money. And honestly, great. If you want to pay him money, I think that's a great thing or whatever. But to do it in this way and to, make it untraceable, make him have to, like, work for it, and, like, solve these puzzles that he would like have to know you to be able to solve.
It's weird, right?
It's weird. You could have just left him money in your will.
Yeah.
You could have just left him money in your will.
Or some other way that would have been legal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
like they can't, like, if he didn't kill you, like, then it's not a problem. right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why. I mean, maybe she would have to like figure out a way to do it legally with like Ryan's permission or something, and maybe Ryan wouldn't have approved, but I don't know why. I'm pretty sure it's her money, and Ryan makes specific comments about how it's her money and he only gets access to it under certain conditions. So presumably she's free to use it for what she wants, like buying random ins and stuff. Ryan wasn't a fan of that, but he didn't really have a choice in the matter. So, like, I don't understand this.
Why now? He's been out of jail for like
a
decent amount of time by this point.
You could have written him a check the day he got out.
Right. And so why send him on this weird goose chase, put the package in a dead woman's car, hope he can get access to it.
Yeah.
To get the key to get the bearer bonds. What?
It's bizarre.
What is the timeline? Why not make it easy for him and like make it some sort of legal process?
Yes.
Set up a foundation in his name, donate the money to the foundation, and just leave it alone. And then you have a paper trail that proves where that money came from and where it went after you died. Goodness. Anyway. So Nancy's able to like reassure him and calm him down that it's totally okay.
But he also asks if they stole it because like technically did we steal this money? And they 100% did, because they broke into her property, broke into her safe, and took it. So they had to trespass to get it. That's theft. So he did steal it. So she's like forcing him to commit a crime in the act of getting this money. So not only is it like, oh, just untraceable. No, it's literally illegal. She's literally forcing him into more crime. For someone who quote unquote felt guilty about him having to go to prison. Honestly, it seems like a big setup. I don't.
It really
trust
does.
Tiffany.
Oh my gosh! And then like doesn't even have. Okay, so you can say like, okay, maybe she wanted me to have this key, and that's like how I can prove that it's. I have ownership of this. I really didn't steal it.
They broke in.
She didn't say like, hey, Nick, here it is in writing that I want you to go get this package and get the key out of it, and then it's your key to use to have whatever's in that safe. No, she sends him a text, package in car. That's it. That's the only proof he has that Tiffany even wanted him to have all this.
Because she didn't leave the clock with him. She left it it's a locked clock, a combination locked clock inside someone else's car.
Locked car.
And then the locked car that he does not own, he doesn't have any legal access to.
That he went and got without permission.
And then led him to her private property where the contents were in a locked safe.
That he destroyed a wall.
Yes!
To get to.
On the wall.
That's breaking and entering, sir.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Nick, you're lucky you're not going back to jail. Because Karen has it out for you. Like, oh my gosh.
Oy.
So yes. So yes, they have this conversation. Nancy tries to persuade him that he's not going to get in any sort of trouble over this. I don't know how she would know that for certain. But they actually have to end this conversation early because Nancy gets a text from Ace asking her to meet with him. And Nick's like, really? You have to go?
Yes, okay, this is another thing. He gets really weird about Ace texting Nancy, and she's like, I need to go help Ace. And he's like, do you?
Seriously?
Like, really jealous. It's weird.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't even think you can really qualify Nick and Nancy as dating at this point. Like,
yeah. They're just sleeping together. I'm sorry.
They're not like out in public together. You know what I mean? Like,
this is a situationship.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. So to be jealous is wild.
Yeah.
Wild. Over someone who, like, by the way, has professed romantic interest in Beth, not Nancy, in the past. So, like,
He's like, it's just another control thing because he just wants her to stay and like help him with the bear bomb thing more. Like, oh, you're gonna help me hide these later? Why not now? Why do you have to go see Ace? Well, why can't you do it yourself? Why do you have to you're just mad that she's leaving, not that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway. So Ace has actually texted Nancy because he has figured out that the van with the tree through the window is indeed Bess's. And he asked Nancy to be the one to approach Bess about it instead of him, because I guess he thinks that it would like embarrass her if it was him, even though Ace and Bess are very close at this point, so I don't
Yeah.
really see that.
He's her platanker.
Yeah, he's her platanker. So why would she care so much if he knew where she was living? But I guess it's an embarrassment for her, and Ace is sensitive to this. So Nancy goes to Bess's van, and she is trying to like clean up all the debris from the storm and everything, and there's like glass all over her bed. It's awful. And Nancy tries to like gently ask. She's like, "So are things not going so well with your aunt?" And Bess is like, "Oh, I just like to be independent, live on my own sometimes. It's no big deal. And damage from the tree's nothing. Like, I've always wanted a skylight, right?" And like, she's just trying to like put on a brave face. And it's just not. It's sad. You should take our ending here.
Okay. So, meanwhile, Carson gets home and he sees Nancy's white Keds in the entryway. Also, the fact that Nancy wears white Keds at all, I am in love with.
Adorable.
I think it's just the cutest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But he sees these Keds and they are stained with wine. Oh, and so he realizes that she was the one who was sneaking around in the inn earlier. And he starts to go upstairs to her bedroom, but he stops in his tracks on the way up the stairs because water starts dripping on his sleeve. And we, as the viewer, see the ghost of Lucy, dead Lucy, is just inches above him. And he turns to look, and she's disappeared. I was so mad when this happened. I was like, how come everybody else has to be spooked out so much, but Carson gets off scot-free without a spook? Anyway. So, yes. So then Nancy ends up convincing Bess to come stay with her at the Drew home, at least until they can get the van fixed. And so Bess starts packing a bag. And when she does, a diamond ring falls onto the floor. Bess didn't notice this happening, but Nancy did. And so she reaches down to grab it and immediately recognizes it as Tiffany's engagement ring and wonders to herself, did I just invite a killer to a sleepover?
You said that exactly how she says that in the show, by the way. Love it. Perfect.
I love Nancy's voiceover in this so much. It is so tricky to do a voiceover in a TV show in like a non-cheesy kind of way. Somehow this show manages it. And honestly, it's a really impressive feat considering, like, no offense, but considering that this is a CW show and that like maybe sometimes on CW shows the like writing quality is not always fantastic. You know what I mean? So, but I'm just like really impressed by how it's probably a combination of the writing and also Kennedy.
Yeah, of course. She does a great voiceover.
Because she does a really great delivery of it. And so it feels really natural. And I just love it. I love it so much. So
not to burst your bubble, but that is a season 1 only thing.
No, it works so well.
It does.
Bummer.
That's okay.
Yeah. I guess probably it gets complicated when you have more intersecting storylines from other characters and when other characters start becoming more central to the story. It's probably difficult to kind of balance it correctly because obviously Nancy can't be voicing over kind of other people's stories.
Right. Exactly.
But I would have loved to see voiceover from the other characters. I think that would have been
fun.
a nice way to do it. Obviously, I haven't gotten there yet, so we'll see. But
that's okay.
Anyway.
Well, we'll enjoy it while it lasts because it is good the way that they do it. So
yeah. Oh, so good. I mean, spooky and goofy, yes. But the reason why I stopped watching the CW show in the first place is because I got kind of burnt out on the supernatural aspect of it. It just felt a little too hokey, and we were getting to the spot where I was like, okay, can we not just wrap up the mystery, but instead we just kind of like move on to the next like monster of the week kind of a thing? And I'm like, that's not really what the show started itself to be. And so I felt like it kind of lost the plot a little bit. And so I lost interest. But still, we're kind of still in that kind of golden area where it's like, yes, it's spooky, but it's still kind of about the mystery. And we're still kind of getting all of these like intersecting questions about all of our characters and so still really enjoying it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, but I'm excited to see how long that actually goes on,
Mhm.
and if there's a certain point where I'm like, make it stop, or if I'll change my tune and still like it or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah,
out.
we'll talk about this later, but I definitely know what you mean about them dragging out season 1 a little bit. And if I had been in charge, it would have been a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people actually know this, but they had planned for season 1 to be a little bit longer. And because of COVID and everything, the last 5 episodes of season 1 got pushed to the start of season 2.
I see.
And so the real season 2 plot line that was supposed to be season 2 episode 1 gets pushed to season 2 episode 6. And so truly season 1 does not wrap up until season 2 episode 5. And so it would have been even worse in the beginning. Because in my opinion, we should have solved who killed Tiffany and Lucy, and then that should have been the season finale.
Yeah.
And then start on the Aglaika stuff in maybe season 2, or maybe you're just not done it at all, because
Skip
those
it.
5 episodes, honestly, season 2 is my favorite season of the entire
Really?
show, and I
Okay.
love it so much. And I just want to get to that, and like the Aglaika stuff, it feels not like I want to skip over them and get to that in the podcast or anything. I just want to get to those storylines. The Aglaika stuff doesn't really mean much to me. Like it feels like,
And that's the plot line that's at the end of season 2. Is this
correct.
Aglaika
Yeah,
stuff.
that
Okay.
would have
Yeah.
been the real end of season 1. So I actually call those first 5 episodes season 1.5, because they're this kind of like weird in between. But yeah, no, we actually solve Lucy's murder, and then we have like 5 more episodes left in this season, and would have been like 10 more episodes had they had those 5 episodes in season 1. So I just don't really know why they chose to keep going. It's like you've solved both mysteries. Oh, well, we solve Lucy's, and then like 2 episodes later we solve Tiffany's, and then there's still more of the season. And I'm like, what are we doing here? It's just a little frustrating.
Is that a CW thing? Is that is there like a normal season length for like a CW show, and they're just kind of trying to fit the mold for that for like production, for purposes of fitting in with like the network or whatever network.
Their schedule, I don't know. Because seasons 1 and 2 were both 18 episodes each. So I assume it would have been 23 episodes, which feels like a standard season.
It's
and
kind
then
of a long one. I mean, it really depends, right? Because you have some things that's like 8 episodes.
Right.
10 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we kind of make the jump there, 10 to usually like 18 to like 24. So yeah.
I feel like the CW at the time was doing like 24 episode seasons. And then obviously they shortened it to 18. And then for seasons 3 and 4, they only did 13 episodes. Yeah. And that was just because of ratings and stuff. So I get why those were shorter.
Yeah.
But I feel like we could have just done either stretched out this mystery a little bit more and had more stuff in the middle and made the middle better, rather than solving it now and just having like 4 or 5 episodes where we're just kind of here before we start the next mystery season 2, which focuses more on Hudson drama. So,
I mean, for me, I just love a very tightly plotted mystery. I love a carefully plotted mystery, and that's not what this is, unfortunately. It does, it's a CW TV show. It's a CW show, and so the plots tend to kind of meander a bit, because it's going for more character drama. It's going for more ambiance appeal. Like it's not really intended to be about the story so much, which is where it kind of loses me. But trying to appreciate it for what it is. And I think, honestly, I do think it is masterful at what it is. It is very spooky. The cast is great. Everything is so pretty. Like
the
everything
costumes
looks
are
so good.
amazing.
The costume design is spectacular. Like all of it, it hits, I think, every mark that it tries to. And it's not really trying to meet that story mark. I don't think so. It's okay, Yeah. It's okay. Anyway, that's very far and away from the content of this episode. But I really liked this episode. I'm still very kind of in the like spookiness of it all. I'm still very caught up in that. I think I'm going to add like a spook counter or something to my reaction video.
I like that idea.
We'll see how that works out. But yeah.
It's ramping up nicely so far.
Yes. I kind of think I don't love Nancy suspecting the members of the Drew crew, suspecting Carson, like all of this rigmarole makes me uncomfortable. So I'm happy to at least have eliminated one suspect in Nick, I guess, technically, theoretically. Although, even though I would probably prefer for Nick to be the main suspect, I'd prefer to have cleared someone else other than Nick at this point, but c'est la vie. It is what it is, you know. So
yeah, I think right now we're still just kind of dealing with the aftermath of the pilot, that the pilot was what it was. And if we have to like have all 5 of them be suspects, I get that we're setting up so that Nancy investigates them, and then it's this whole found family thing after that. But these first like 5 or 6 episodes is very much like, this was the Nick investigation episode. And as they hinted at the end, next episode is Bess's episode. And episode 2 is more like George focused. So once we get into like maybe episode 7, all that goes away and we're friends by that point. And we'll have made up with Carson by about halfway through the season. So that we do clean that up. It just takes a little bit of time. So it's a little bit drawn out as well. But
well, I am excited to get there.
So I feel like I'm spoiling it too much here. I need to stop saying like, well, in episode 5, this is going to happen.
No, it's good. It's good context, I think, for me to have.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue with this episode specifically is the number of plot holes that are introduced and then never cleared up, and they're never cleared up later either. With just the whole like, how did she get the package in the car and why, and like, why didn't they explain that? And I don't feel like there really was a reason except just the convenience of having him be in Nancy's car.
Yeah.
And that's it. So I am a little nitpicky with that one, but otherwise,
well, it's just it'll get better. Extra. It's because I think it's because it's like the main plot of this episode, right? Is them kind of doing this weird scavenger hunt situation from this very clue. And it's just so to like set it up in a way where like that's a plot hole is a problem because it's the bulk of what the episode is about. So it's like, this doesn't make any sense. So it's fair criticism, I think.
I don't feel like any of the other episodes in this season have quite the amount of plot holes that this one did. And so that's just nitpicky reason. I'm just a little annoyed with this episode because of that. So
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? Anything else?
No, I think I've said all my thoughts.
Yeah.
So flashlight score? Are we flashlight scoring each individual episode? I feel like it's going to be hard. Oh, Lord.
We did it for the other ones. I remember the pilot got a 5 flashlight. I think the second episode, I don't actually remember what we scored that one. Maybe like a 4.
I'm going to go 3 on this one.
Yeah.
I think.
I was thinking 3 as well. Just the reasons I just said. I'm annoyed with the plot holes. And then, oh my gosh, everything you just said about Tiffany grooming Nick. I hadn't really considered it to that extent.
Yeah.
But it makes me like it less now.
Yeah.
Because we do try to make it like a cute, wholesome friendship. And like, oh, how sweet that they connected. But it's not.
It's not sweet at all.
No.
It's very weird that an adult woman has to somehow earn the forgiveness of teenage boy that she was responsible for incarcerating, basically.
Yep.
And that she continues to kind of force it until he comes around and then believes that like somehow they have this really great relationship. Feels problematic.
Yep.
And then ultimately ends in her forcing him to commit a crime to receive a large sum of money. What?
Oh my goodness.
None of that feels okay to me.
But hey, at least he blows through all that money and it's for nothing. It's not for nothing. He does some good with the money, to be fair. But we'll get there.
I hope
I'm spoiling things.
Gets an apartment that is not in this garage where he probably has to breathe in oil fumes every night as he falls asleep.
I'll spoil this one. He does get an apartment with the money.
Yeah. Great.
But anyway.
So okay. 4 flashlights. That's my score. Or sorry, 3 flashlights. I don't know how that sneaky one ended up trying to get in there. It's the ghost of dead Lucy overtook his body and was like, no!
4 flashlights.
4 flashlights. Like Pamela Sue Martin. Find the dress!
Oh my gosh. Oh, what a good pilot. Pamela Sue is so good in
I
it.
know. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that was our first episode of the CW Watch. And yeah, I guess join us next time for the next episode.
Yes, the next episode is The Haunted Ring. Obviously a reference to the diamond engagement ring.
Okay.
Love it. But yeah, we will be covering that. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head. Sometime in mid-July on a week that our normal episodes are not coming out. So
Yes. Yay. Well, I am very excited. And we will
Yes.
see you then, regular Drews.
see you then.
Thank you for listening to Regular Nancy Drew. If you like this episode, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Email us at regularnancydrew@gmail.com.
You can also visit our website, regularnancydrew.com, and also follow us on Instagram at regularnancydrew.
You can also support us on Patreon. Patrons at the $3 level vote on upcoming episode topics and get exclusive access to our Scoop Sesh series.
And all patrons receive early access to each episode as well as weekly bonus content.
And to all you regular Drews out there, thanks for listening.